Hey, this is Ross with my partner Bob. We have a show called Worldview Matters.
And Ross, as you know, we believe that everything in life is somehow related to how people view the world around them.
Our show is available on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Also available on the web at bigbrainsmedia.com.
This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Friday the 15th. I'm James Spann. Really nice today, but hey, we turn cold tomorrow and maybe some severe weather late next week. A lot to talk about, so let's take a look. Love that sky today. That's the sky cam coming from Trussville. A few fair weather cumulus clouds with hardly any vertical development. The air very dry. Very similar scene from Tuscaloosa. And we got a cold front actually coming through, but the air is so dry it's just not doing much. And again, the sky looks about the same over in East Alabama. That's coming from Chehaw State Park. Big old trough developing over the east. It's going to be a quick cold shot, though, as the pattern is progressive. The leading edge of the cold air moving into North Alabama with that front you see there. And you can see the difference on either side of that front. Memphis at 52 north of the front. Montgomery at 64 south of the front. And the cold air wins the battle for one day. And you can see north of here, very cold air settling in over the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. And as discussed, that front's just not doing much. You can almost pick it out there with a radar. That was at 2:45. Little batch of showers near the front. But the air is so dry, I just don't think we'll see much of anything measurable. There's a watch warning map. Pretty quiet. Some freeze watches upper parts of Florida. You know, they typically don't have freezing weather any time of the year. So even in February when they get a freeze, it warrants a freeze watch or a freeze warning. But again, for much of the nation, things are nice and quiet. And again, this is what catches our eye. This is the day 4 through 8 convective outlook. And on day 7, which is Thursday of next week, there's a risk of severe weather for parts of the Deep South, including parts of Alabama. Anytime you see a risk that far in advance, you know it's very significant for these guys to mention that, and we'll explore that modeling here in just a minute. And here's the rain for the next 7 days. This carries us through Friday evening of next week. So this takes into account the rain we have Monday night and Tuesday, and the other batch of rain we have on Thursday. And this is showing rain amounts of really about 1.5 to 2.5 inches around here. So we've had a lot of rain this year, and wet weather keeps on coming. Let's check the GFS. This is the Global Forecast System, the 12Z run, valid at 12 noon tomorrow at 500 millibars. Intense trough coming through, and there's going to be a lot of forcing. You can see all that vorticity in the base of that thing, a lot of upward motion, but there's just not much moisture. Again, we'll mention snow flurries, but nothing significant. It's just going to be a breezy, cold, blustery day. We'll have a hard time getting out of the 30s. There's a peek at the temperatures off the NAM tomorrow afternoon. You can see they're kind of hovering in the upper 30s to near 40 around here. So a frigid Saturday to start the weekend. But it won't last long. Now Sunday morning's going to be cold. We'll get down there in the low to mid-20s. But then we warm right back up. We should be in the low 50s by Sunday afternoon. And our friends in New England, they got to watch that 964 millibar low. Goodness, that might mean more snow for Boston and Cape Cod if this is right. That's a tough forecast up there. You know, the models are kind of doing the hokey pokey on the location of that thing, and that will determine who gets any snow, if any at all, up there. But it's something for them to watch. All right, Monday, return flow sets up. South winds. We rise up in the low 60s. Moisture levels increase. Got a surface low developing northeast of Kansas City. We'll go to Tuesday morning at 6 o'clock. The intense forcing with that trough is north of us, and down below that, the surface low, the primary surface low, is located over northern Michigan. And you can see a trailing front coming in here with a good batch of showers and storms. A secondary low tries to form on the front over southwest Alabama, but no real change in our thinking. The severe weather chance is minimal. In fact, there's the lifted index, 6 o'clock Tuesday morning. There's no surface-based instability here, so severe weather possibilities minimal, if any at all. The main window, midnight Monday night until about noon Tuesday, in rain amounts of 1/2 to 1 inch. So that's the deal with that. Wednesday, we're in between systems. Should be a nice day. I think we'll reach the low 60s based on those thickness values. And look at the winds out there howling over the Texas Panhandle and the plains of Colorado. Thursday, here comes the next big system. Deep upper low, it's over Kansas. It's a vertically stacked system. The surface low is 992 millibars. And at midday Thursday, big storms will likely break out over Arkansas, northeast Texas, North Louisiana, if this is right. And that is a classic severe weather setup. That's the quadrant in the southeastern part of the surface low where there could be some pretty rough weather. And then this is Thursday night at midnight. The surface low is on the Iowa-Missouri border. The storms are into Alabama. And they could pack a punch. That's the reason there's a day 7 outlook there. Obviously, we got days to watch this, but the potential is there. And then by midday Friday, everything's out of here. So looks like a Thursday night setup next week at this point. And, of course, we'll fine-tune the timing over the weekend as we get closer. We'll go out there a few more days. This is the 24th. This is the end of that following weekend, Sunday night the 24th. That's another stormy setup there. 998 millibar low that's north of Texarkana. That could be pretty stormy. And how about March 2nd? Got those big red blobs. 992 millibar low at Kansas City, and that looks stormy. So looks like the tornado season might be getting off to an active start. We'll see. That's it for the Weather Extreme video this afternoon. We'll have notes on the blog. My next video will be Monday morning at 7. Brian Peters, the man that looks like Colonel Sanders. We'll have the updates tomorrow and Sunday. And if you can, watch us on TV or the live stream this evening, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and God bless. Who's got time to listen to boring radio shows? If you're going to listen to something good, like Eavesdrop.
My favorite thing about Christmas is not the presents.
No.
And it's not the million Christmas parties. And it's not playing Dirty Santa. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's about relationships.
I know. I know exactly where you're going with that, yeah.
It just is.
It is.
And take the time. What if this is your last Christmas and you never know?
Just talking it up.
They may use the name Jesus in a terrible way when they hit their thumb with a, with a hammer by accident on Saturday afternoon when they're working on their car. But don't bring Jesus into a song and give him a beer. It ain't right.
Hey, I know a few of those folks myself.
Bama Talk Show.
But before we head for the Dome, we got business to take care of at home. So making plans for the throwdown in downtown Atlanta will have to wait until that post-game rammer jammer rings in the postseason for Bama and the offseason for the Barn.
Auburn Unleashed.
That magical score that Auburn fans remember, 17-16, came out of that game. And Bill Newton was responsible for the chant, punt, Bama, punt. Bill, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Adam. I appreciate y'all having me as the first guest on your show.
Worldview Matters.
And we've been talking about a number of things. Last couple of times we talked about socialism. We moved from Islam to socialism, and we were going to continue today to do the same thing. But a lot of things have happened in the world in the past 10 days. It's heated up again in Israel. So I thought it'd be a good chance for us to talk about some of the things that relate to worldview as it relates to the Israeli situation and Egypt and all that's going on in the Mideast.
High School Heroes.
And the plane goes right through the bridge and doesn't catch on fire. It's tons of stuff, man. Tons of unrealistic stuff, but hey, it was really cool, actually.
Warning, any of these shows can be addictive, and they are all fun. Listen on iTunes, Stitcher, your favorite podcast app, or on the web at bigbrainsmedia.com.